I was gonna come live afterwards, but the news I got wasn't that great. And so I was kind of a little down, took some time to have a pity party, and now I am back. So we are going to do some painting, which I think I'm going to be able to use my right hand. We'll see. It's hurting a little bit, just kind of. I've been icing it. Oh, I'm live now. I am live. So anyways, let me show y'all. This is what I painted. Let's see. Why you not go up close? There we go. So a little closer. This is the year of the horse, and so you saw what I did last. Was it last week I did this? I think so, right? I did left-handed, just some abstract kind of looking stuff. I think what I want to do is a sheet of paper and see what we can make with it. Okay. And I did cut some little pieces of paper. We'll see if I can use them. They all kind of have something stuck on them. Let's see. Let's see what we can find here. But how are you guys doing? I just want you to know I am praying for y'all. If you are one of my followers, subscribers, I always pray for you guys. I want you to know that I care about you. This is a nice piece. I could do something on this. Maybe small, something small. What do you think? Should I go a little bigger? I think maybe a little bigger. Here we go. This is a good size. It's about the same size as that. So it's not too big. I don't want to go too big because that'll take a long time. I actually have a painting I did, which I really like, where I just freehanded it. I did not even sketch it. I just started painting and wanted to see how it would look without really doing too much pre-work on that. And so maybe I shouldn't sketch this one, but I was looking at some pictures, and let me see if I can find the photos on my phone, because I do need a reference photo. So this, super cute. Look at that. Is that like a mommy and a baby? How cute. That little baby horse is super cute. Look at that one. That's super cute. This is also super cute. And so it's two horses, right? But I think what I liked best about this one was the contrasts in color. Kind of like the two different colors. I think we can do this one. What do you guys think? I know sometimes it's hard to decide, right? It's hard to decide. So I'm going to do like a little sketch with some ears. Now I want you guys to know I'm not using the Da Vinci Eye right now, but that's okay because I'm going to figure this out quick. I'm not trying to make it perfect because the title of this is Don't Focus Too Much on Details, right? So what I'm trying to focus on are shapes and yeah, shapes are what we focus on. And of course, that's gonna look, maybe that should be up higher. I don't know. Gonna have Mama's back go right there. So we got a little bit of detail, but I'm not focusing on it. I'm trying not to anyways. I'm just trying to make something kind of cool and loose. Because you know me, I'm a very loose kind of painter, right? So I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Pretty good, right? Maybe that should be a little lower. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to try this, okay? Just simple, a very simple drawing. And a very simple painting. So we're not trying to make it super fabulous. This is like just an exercise in painting. I wanted to use these paints, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to open them. Oh, I opened them. That's good news. That's good news. So, I know you guys are probably wondering what the doctor said on Monday, and I'll be honest, she thinks the nerve is damaged, not because my feeling is gone, but because my motor strength is not where she'd want it to be. But I'll tell you something, I have rheumatoid arthritis, which makes my hands stiff and kind of the joints hurt a little bit sometimes. And with this cold weather, and also I read up, when you have an injury, your body goes into a flare, fighting off whatever's happening to you, right? So I'm wondering if I'm having a rheumatoid arthritis flare, and that's making my strength in my hand kind of weak. But it's also only been a week from the injury, right? So I'm a little like, well, you know, how fast should I be improving? And I am an older lady, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go straight into the mama. Straight into mama horse. Going around baby horse. And just getting that interesting little how it's looking, right? How the face is going to look, how the hair and the eye. Oh, she does have a white blaze, which I probably should have kept. We can bring it back. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know what this little doodad is. Ah, little doodad right there. And then just a little bit on her back, and there, the shine on her back is kind of a pale blue. So I do want you guys, when you're looking at your photo reference, to really see all of these pictures and the colors and things like that. I don't want you guys to be guessing and being like, oh, I think this is what it looks like, right? You need to actually look at it. Look at it and see. So now I'm going to lift where her little blaze is. And it's okay if it's kind of bluish underneath, because really colors start to look more like what they should look like. That might not be pure white, but once I paint this darker, it's going to look and appear white. Hey Beth, thanks for joining. You're going to watch later. All's good so far. Great to hear it. Awesome news. Been praying for you. My husband and I did last night. So everything, you know, God is his timing, of course, but sometimes I wish there was more, to this, you know, when you're praying, like there'd be some real clear signs. Like, yes, I'm going to answer this prayer. So that's what I wish sometimes. I know it's kind of selfish on my part, but I would like to know more. Like, hey, Lord, when are we going to see the answers, right? That's what I like to know. When are we going to see them answers? So now I'm just adding this little bit of a darker area, and like Mama Horse has brown in her, but I haven't added the brown. I don't know if you can see that real good. But we're going to add some Payne's Gray. I like Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray. And a little bit of burnt umber. Mix those two together and you get like this real pretty grayish brown, which is what I want. I want this kind of grayish brown. And the thing about watercolor that I feel is so cool is that this loose technique is really what brings out the painterly look. And that's one of the trends I think we're going to be seeing in the art world, is that people are going to be going more towards what looks like a real hand made it. So if that makes sense to you, like you want a real looking photo, a real looking painting, rather than one that's looks like just AI generated or whatever. I think that's what's going to be the trend this year. And I'm actually kind of happy about that. I like the idea that we're going to have a good year for artists. I think real artists that are out there putting their stuff on social media or even in person. I think what's really cool is I have some artwork at a coffee shop locally, Sweet Home Coffee in Robertsdale, and they have a plan in place for an art show. And so I will have my art set up there for that. I mean, it's there now. You can go and buy one of my paintings that they have, but I think that for the show, and I think it's going to be in March or May. I can't remember what she said. Maybe March, I think. So we're going to go in and add more paintings for the show probably. And see, I'm just looking at the shape of this baby. This little baby. How cute is this baby? It's turning out really nice so far. Look at that. I haven't even put any detail. So really, you don't even have to focus on the details. Now, I did notice this back leg is in the shadow, so I'm going to add a little blue, maybe a little blue right under here. You might be like, why'd you add blue? Well, sometimes instead of adding gray for shadows, you should look at what's surrounding this subject matter, which is green grass. So maybe it's supposed to be more green, but I'm going to make it kind of a bluish color. Because with this yellow on there, it is going to be tinged just slightly green. And it's not a super yellow, it's just a little bit yellow. I can tell that my mama needs to have a little more detail, maybe a little more brown this time around. Let's see what happens when I keep adding just some darker areas in here. This is nice right in here, dark. And then the neck has some dark in here and some muscles that are showing. And that's the thing, just follow it. Just let your brush follow what you see. And I'm not even too particular right now. I'm gonna add a little dark in here because it is shadowed in here. And it seems like the legs. Now I could have gone in and made a better drawing, y'all. And that would have probably made this look 10,000 times better. But I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to allow this to be organic looking and loose feeling. So that's what I'm doing, okay? And it's a small picture. It's not super big. So we are lucky that we can just put some hair in there, yeah. And then what about down here? I think this is a little dark on this side. Add a little bit of Payne's Gray. Just a little bit, not a ton. Maybe just to show the flanks in there. And maybe a little bit of blue. And see how I'm changing the colors right there? They're still bleeding together. I don't know if you can see that up close. Let's see if we can get even closer. I think this is really zoomed in yet. Let me see if I can zoom. A zoom zoom. Let's see. How's that? Is that a little bit more zoomed in? And the cool thing is that you will get better if you practice stuff like this. I don't want people to think that I just started day one painting this good. I didn't. Y'all know that I started doing this in 2020. I was an artist already, an abstract artist, but I was an artist, so I already kind of know how to make colors with paints and stuff. But I'll tell you what, watercolor is a lot different than acrylic, a lot different. I'm just carving into this little baby because it's going to make it look more defined. And we're just going to keep adding. I took the halter off this horse because I didn't want it. And that's something too you can do. When you take a photo from the internet, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't, what's the word? Infringe on people's copyright. Well, someone did make this photo and put it online, right? And it's a beautiful photo. But I'm doing a little different, aren't I? The background might even be different. Everything might be different. And I'm going to make that leg just a little bit more bulky. I think it needs to be a little more bulky. I probably needed this to be a little thinner, but I could probably change the back or the foreground a little bit and not deal with the feet so much, because I think dealing with the feet is going to be kind of a pain. So now his little leg is in here. And I'm going to put something right there. So that's supposedly Mama's legs in the background. I'm going to make them really pale because I don't know if that's really where they're at. We'll see. But this is all going to be green. I'm going to make that green. Make it like grass, like they're standing in grass, so then we don't have to worry about their little feet. I think that'll be good. Now, little baby's face has a little kind of star on their forehead. Their little eyes are right there. Little nose. Now see how I did it in a lighter color? You don't have to. You can just go for it if you want. But frankly, I like to use a lighter color and see what happens that way. But yeah, getting those little shapes in there. I'm letting my eyes do all the work, looking at what I'm painting. So that looks pretty good. I can add some Payne's gray into that brownish yellow. A little bit of hair in the ears, and the eye, and the nose. So now we see over here the mama's eye. I should probably go smaller with my brush, but we're just gonna do a little something there, a bit in the nose. And just down, make that shadow a little more prominent, make those ears a little more prominent. Some hair. So now it's looking really nice. I'm liking this. This needs to be darkened a whole lot more. Like that. That's looking better. And when I did this freehand, I did a horse freehand before, it turned out really nice. I liked how it looked. It was really soft and loose. Nice splattered paint. It was great. I really liked it. So there's a lot that I could do to kind of make this more loose and pretty. that's just kind of some of the ideas for getting this more loose feeling. Kind of like how that looks. So I may not do anything more to it. Now my little baby horse needs some more blue colors. This is definitely a little darker on the legs and the chest. And a little bit here on the belly. I may underneath the nose has like some shading. But that's looking pretty good. I really like it. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Is this what I want to do? There we go. So you can see kind of the picture next to it. It's starting to look really, really good. I may end up doing some blue sky up here. And I may not go too detailed on this because I just want it to be kind of fun and not be. I need a bigger desk, but if I had a bigger desk, I'd just put more stuff on it. I don't know if that's how you guys are, but that's kind of how I am. If you give me more room, I'll just use it all up. There we go. That looks kind of cool. And it really wasn't that hard to do. I'm going to add darker onto the ears, nose, and eyes of the baby in a minute, but kind of have to let some of this dry. But the shadows are what makes this look like horses. You know what I'm saying? Definitely looks like horses. You wouldn't look at this and say, oh, she's trying to draw cats, right? So I think a lot of us think we're trying to create the most perfect painting, realistic to the photo, and I always try and get kind of similar to the photo, but it's not as important to me to get that perfection in there. I just kind of want it. I'd like it if you can recognize what it is. So you're recognizing it's a horse, right? And that's my goal, is to make sure that it looks like a horse. But sometimes there are people out there, they make super hyper realistic, even with watercolor. And I think that they're amazing. And I would, be in awe of that talent. But for me, it is more important, way more important, to have a loose looking painting. That's way more important to me. And I'm not happy with that color. I'm gonna lift it right out of there because I don't like it. Don't like it. So I think it needs more of this color, yellow. There we go. But I do think it has a little bit of green in there or something. Could be. But I didn't want to have too many details in here, so I have to just let that dry. You know how it is, sometimes you're overworking something and it's starting to look bad. Hey, Linda. Oh, so glad you're joining today. I'm not going to do a lot of painting, I don't think, because my hand is hurting a little bit today. I did ice it already, took some Advil. But I was telling everyone, I think it's the arthritis in my hands that's really kind of the culprit with the pain, in my opinion. I think that's what's happening, is my arthritis is kind of flaring. And let's see what we can do here. Don't want to mess up all those beautiful blooms I did on that, but sometimes you need to add just a little bit just to make some darker areas. And if you don't get that darker area, sometimes you got to go in there with some real thick paint. And that really makes it stand out. And you don't have to be details. This is not all about the details. I'm not trying to make details. We're just trying to make something kind of cool. I may not even have that white blaze in there anymore, but I do need to have some nostrils and a little bit of that. And it's looking pretty good. It's very loose, so we're not trying to make a bunch of details. Like I said earlier, we're just kind of going in and just giving it a little bit of structure just to make it look like a horse. Oh, hey, Barb. Thank you. I am feeling a little better, but then we went to the doctor's on Monday. And, oh, your sister is Barb. Okay. Oh, that's good to know. I know. It's so funny. Like when I go on someone's live, they call me Jacqueline, but I know my @ thing is Stampin' Turtle. So I don't know how they know my name, but that's interesting. I wonder if there's like a different thing I can set up for my chat to show me their real names. Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But welcome. Thank you for joining. So yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for like down here to dry a little bit because I do want to make this green grass, but I don't want it to be real bright. So I'm gonna tone my red my green down with a little bit of red. That's my little trick. So if you have some green or straight out of the tube that's like fluorescent green or real bright green and you don't like it that bright, put some red right into it. And you can mix it and make it look a little bit more like a sage green. And that would be way more realistic. So now I'm just gonna put some of these in here. See how I'm making the grass so we don't have to do the feet. Sometimes we don't want to have feet because feet are hard to paint, right? But I'm going to keep adding a little bit of green, a little bit of red, and making that a little thicker. And that is looking really good. And I think this would make a great card for like a Mother's Day or something. I think it would be kind of fun to give it to either your mom or to your daughter. You could give it to a horse lover, someone that's really fond of horses. I like doing this. Ooh, I just had an idea. What if I did some yellow droplets? What happens if you do some yellow? Kind of looks like dandelions, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like a dandelion? I think it does. If I can zoom in, see those little flowers in there? They're yellow. And Linda says, "Oh yeah, that looks good. Thanks." Yeah, and what I'm seeing, I'm looking at it on my computer screen, so like seeing it in front of me, I can see more of the imperfections. But when I see it on my computer screen, it doesn't look imperfect. It looks great to me. I think it looks great. So, but I may add some of this darker brown into here. And a little bit of Payne's Gray just to mix this a little darker because I feel like the little sides of this face, the nose has to have some darker areas. And I just feel like this little star on his forehead might be a little spot right there. Should probably find a smaller brush. That's a little bit too dark maybe. But you know what happens when it's too dark? You dry your brush on some paper towel. And you can lift it with the tip of your brush. See how that lightens? I don't know if you saw it. I can zoom in. See how I lightened that? And so now I got like the dark nose, the dark eyes. And I kind of changed the position of the head of the pony to look more at you, I think. So that's another thing. When you're using someone's photo, you can always change some of the details that way, is that you can do that. You can make it so that it's just a little bit more unique to you. It's more unique. So I'm just adding just a little bit of detail on these legs because I'm feeling it needs a little bit more detail. And this back leg needs a little more of a darker area, and I'm going to add just a little Payne's Gray in there. I might add that to the front too, because you want your shadows to kind of be similar, but not identical. Just go like that. And see, I think the angle of that leg is not perfect, but that's okay. We're not trying to be perfect here. Nobody's perfect. Of course, when you practice, you get better. So there, I got the legs. You can tell that's a horse and a baby and a mama. You can tell. You can see it. I think it looks very similar to the photo. Maybe the head tilt is a little different. The blaze on the nose of the mom is a little different. Of course, you can't see their feet that well because I just put some greenery there. I might do some more dark green. Let me see what happens if I add a little bit of red to this green. And you can just flick it, although it's still really wet down there. You can probably tell that it's just not doing anything. It's just kind of spreading and going wherever it wants. But that's okay. Sometimes you got to put some little wispy things in there, okay? Sometimes you just let the paint do its thing, get real crazy with your brush strokes. Let something just start to form. You don't have to be perfect in there. That's what I always say. You don't have to be perfect. Just have fun with it. To me, it's very relaxing. I'm so glad to be back in the studio, y'all, doing this. I'm gonna let this kind of dry. But if you guys have any questions for me, just let me know. You know, what's the prognosis now on my hand? She wants to do surgery. I don't want surgery. I probably have a week to make up my mind. I'm trying to figure it out. I think it hurts from doing all the testing that they did on Monday where they pushed and they made me bend it a lot. And so I think that just worked it a little hard and it got swelled up. And so I iced it yesterday and got it nice and back down. The swelling was back down. But I do think that today I'm getting a little strength back. I had really good strength on Monday right before during the appointment. So it was like afterwards is when it started hurting and it started swelling. So to me that means that I just overworked it, and I don't know. we'll see. We'll see. I believe that God can heal me. I believe that He is using this for a pause on what He wants me to be doing. As I said, I think in another video, the mug that broke said to be still, which is one of the Bible verses that I like. Be still and know that I am God, is what He says. So be still. Nobody likes to be still. In fact, I was talking to one of my friends. She's like, you don't realize how go, go, go you are until an injury happens. And then you're sitting there and everyone else has to do what you normally do for you. And they're like, how do you do this? Because you just go, go, go. And you don't even think about it. You just do the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And so for me, I do a lot of driving around town, running errands. I have small groups. I have art groups. I have crafting groups. I have Bible art journaling groups. I'm a busy, active person. So is God trying to say you need to cut back on some of these things? Because in fact, I think I tried to add more things. I don't know why I do that to myself. It's like, hey, maybe we can do more. But I think that's part of what God is trying to do, is put a pause on some of the ambitions that I have. Maybe the ambitions that I want to do with my art business isn't really lining up where God wants me to go. But I do know one thing, that, I really think about opportunities. So if there's an opportunity for me to show my artwork to more people, I kind of like those opportunities. And there's one coming up, Loyola Art Show, and that's in Mobile, and it's indoors, and lots of people attend it, and they are ready to buy art. So that is kind of a good show if you can get into it. I've never applied. I saw it last year, thought about it, did not apply. But a friend of mine who's a watercolor artist, he got in and he said it was totally worth it. And so maybe I should submit some artwork to that. I always think about entering an art show, like competition, and I never do. Probably because I don't feel like I'm good enough yet. Because, I only started in 2020 doing watercolor. I don't know if time doing something matters. I think just the amount of practice I've put in. So that definitely has been there. I've been always improving, I feel. Even if I have a setback on, sometimes I have a bust. Like I'll paint something and I look at it and I'm like, that did not turn out good at all. But there are other times where I make something and I'm just super happy with it. So, and then the ones in the middle, it's like you're happy, but they're not great. They're not bad. So it's kind of one of those things. You just kind of keep making art, right? And I don't know if any of you guys do watercolor, or if you just like watching me, or you're my friend in real life, which a lot of you are friends of mine in real life. So, but that's what I really want. I want to do more in-person things. I like art shows. I like setting up my little booth and talking to people and getting to know them, getting to understand what they want out of artwork for them, for their homes. I've talked to some people recently, they really want some large pieces. And as you all know, I charge by the square inch. So those large paintings can be pricey, which, if God told me how much to charge, that's how much I charge. And, I always want to help them out though. So like if they're going to buy more than one, I can give them a discount so they can buy more. And that just seems like a good deal in my opinion. I just found a guy on Instagram. He's selling 16 by 16 inch paintings. I'm pretty sure they're acrylic. $2,500. What? Oh my goodness, Jackie did a CSR drive-by. I seen an orb. Really? You saw an orb? Just right in my camera? I have to watch it. When you were saying there are other time. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look because when I'm looking at it on the screen, it's like small, what I can see. So I'll have to go back and look. What time is this? 42 minutes in. So we're actually doing pretty good. I'll probably go ice my arm again. I'm supposed to go to Bible art journaling today. I want to. But I am still in my pajama bottoms. Like I only got a shirt on for you guys. So you are, and put a little makeup on, try to look a little presentable. But for the most part, I am not dressed for the outside world. I don't know. I may just hang out and ice my arm and take it easy. Poor Amanda, y'all pray for my daughter Amanda. She's not feeling good. Came home with a sore throat. She's just all achy and yucky. So she's going to be taking the day off, I believe, and just resting. I might see if she needs something to eat. I'm a mama. I'm just going to take care of my baby, even if I'm still having issues myself. But let's see if this little baby has dried. And you can see how small it is. So like, see how compared to my head it is? It's not that big. Whoop, there we go. So it actually looks pretty. I like it. I don't know if it's accurate, but that doesn't matter to me. I think Mama's legs could have been her chest could have been a little higher maybe. If I were to do this for a commission, which I do, I still take commissions, I would have my Da Vinci eye and use that to trace it more accurately. So the more accurate your drawing is with details, then the more accurate you would be. But we weren't focusing on details. We were focusing on the shapes and just getting, what that looks like. And that we know it looks like this. It looks like a horse. It looks like a horse and its baby. Like you can tell that that's from that photo pretty much. It may not be perfect, but it's good, I think. I think it's good. And that's another thing. You guys got to be nice to yourself. Always encourage yourself. I know that other people, it's real easy to tell them they're doing great. And then when it comes to yourself, you're like, no, I'm not doing that great. But why? Why don't you talk to yourself as good as you talk to your friends? Why don't you talk to yourself that way? So I think you should, right? We should always be kind to ourselves. And really, if we aren't perfect, why are we expecting ourselves to be? Nobody is. So I got my little stack of scriptures. I'm going to not really shuffle it because my wrist, but I'm going to flip through and see if I can find, let's see, do I like this? It's an interesting one. Let's see. I like that. Oh, I like this one, James 1:12. Yes, because here's another thing that I've been thinking about with everything happening to me, my stepson. Now my daughter is sick. It's like craziness is happening in this household. Some might say there's a curse upon it, but I don't believe in curses really. I do think that the enemy comes after people when he knows that they're stepping up. And I think like my stepson, he's got a YouTube channel as well, and he's starting to talk more about God and Jesus. And I think that the enemy doesn't like that. So probably try to take him out. But God won't let that happen. Probably I need to be doing something, or I am on the right track. And that's, why the injury happened, but also that God wants to slow me down so that I'm not booking myself all over the place trying to do 100 different things. And maybe I need to pick one or two things. And so I do think I'll apply to that Loyola art show. I may not get in, but at least I'll know, the experience of doing it, right? And what else? I definitely will be doing the art show that's going to be at the coffee shop. So Sweet Home Coffee, if you're local in Robertsdale, Alabama, go check them out. They've got beautiful artwork in there. I'm not the only artist in there. There's another watercolor artist. She's fabulous. And their coffee is awesome. Like, I love their coffee. It's so really good. I get a Frappuccino. I get Fall in a Cup Frappuccinos. Those are good. What else do I do? Oh, they have really good pound cake. There's just really good stuff in there. So, and it's a great environment, atmosphere. I go every Thursday with my friends and we have a good time just hanging out together. But let's get to this scripture because we're going to end up just probably a little bit early. Not that early, really. We almost went an hour. But James 1:12 says, "You are blessed when you persevere under trial. For once you have been approved, you will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him." The crown of life, that is what we should be setting our goals on. If we have any goals whatsoever, it should be on persevering through this life so that we will be saved for eternity. And the only way to do that is through Jesus. But he gives everybody an opportunity. So don't think like some tribe in the Amazon didn't have an opportunity, because I know God is good and he would not leave behind anybody. But we do need to be bold Christians and tell people about Jesus. Because if we're not telling anyone about Jesus, then we have not received the calling that God has put on us. And my first calling might not be art. Like, I try and do art all the time, but my first calling might be to talk to you all. So I do want to tell you that I appreciate you guys. You know, you've been sending me prayers and good wishes. I really do appreciate that. I feel them. You know, having a little pity party for myself after the appointment. And even yesterday I was crying until my friend Linda, thank you Linda for coming over. Oh, you sent me a video of it. I am gonna look at it. Oh, you love me. I love you, girl. You brighten my day coming over here and hanging out with me and just making me feel good again. And I think that's a key here. Community. I know some people like to retreat when they're feeling down, and maybe I did a little bit on, you know, yesterday morning. I was just like, oh, I'm not going nowhere. And then you just brightened my day because you came and saw me. So I didn't have to go nowhere. But I do know that God is working on this. He is healing it. He will let me know if I need the surgery. So I should trust in him. I shouldn't trust in anything else. I know doctors are put here for a reason, but in my opinion, God is the ultimate doctor. He's the ultimate healer. He's the one who will help me decide what to do, when to do it. And so I'm just trusting. I'm just going to be still. I'm just going to wait and let it play out. I do think I have another probably 6 days before I really have to make a decision. So in that time, just pray for me to have discernment and clarity and more confirmation from God on what my next step should be. So, but I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming and for watching, and for, if you wanted to paint along, I hope you can show me, you know, in the posts. I think on YouTube they let you post your pictures. So I think I made it so that you can put your picture on there if you want to post. But I will go and post this on that tab. I'll probably post it on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all those places, you know, just to let everyone know that I was actually painting today. So I do like painting. I hate it when I can't paint. So that's another thing why this is driving me nuts, because I can't really do what I want to do. I like this strength is not quite there. But as you can see, I can kind of paint. So it is good. It is good. And God is good. So I will see you guys next Monday, maybe. I got another appointment on a Monday. They're going to look at the stitches and see if they can come out yet. They couldn't come out Monday. So, but that's earlier. So if I get done at a reasonable time, I will go live. If not, we will see when I can. Maybe it'll be later in the day, but I will try and do that. I'm also working on editing a video for y'all on the Van Gogh painting so that you can follow that along as a tutorial. I think I should get that out maybe by Saturday, hopefully. But I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Mwah!